In the last video, we talked about what the definition of deviance is and the difference between the sociobiologist and the sociologist. And the sociologists, you'll remember, are understanding why people so deviance is defined as breaking the social rules or say breaking the norms, violation of the norms. And remember, there is no right or there's no good or bad. Deviance is not bad or good. It simply is. It's just doing something differently. And sociologists argue that the reason people do either follow the rules or don't follow the rules is because of social forces that they learn. It's all a learned response. So this video is going to begin discussing some of the theories, and I want to start with some of the symbolic interactionist theories. You remember symbolic interactionism it's a micro theory, so it tries to understand human behavior at the interpersonal level, right? The first theory I want to talk about is differential association, and you can follow along on your chapter outlines here. If you look at the word differential association and you take it apart, it's different associations. So this theory says that the reason that we learn from the people around us are influencing our behaviors. It's the birds of a feather flock together kind of thing, that we learn from those that we associate with, that the norms that we follow are defined by our group, by our closer group. So I like to use an example here. When I was growing up, I had two really good friends, and Kim used to go to church 3 days a week, and they didn't have a television set, and her mother answered the phone, "Jesus loves you." And my friend Carolyn used to sneak out at night and go kiss the boys. And my mom had, like, I could do anything I wanted with Kim, right? I didn't even have to ask. I could go wherever I wanted with Kim. But Carolyn, my mom didn't really like me hanging out with. And this is differential association. It's peer pressure. It's the assumption that you're going to take on the ways of the people that you associate with. Consider, like, what do people who are in prison, who do they associate with? Fellow criminals, right? What do people, like, the reason the idea behind AA is that you're with a group of folks who are also trying to stay sober, and you're going to act like the people that you try to stay sober. Right? That's differential association, birds of a feather. It's peer pressure. It's that stuff that, your mom said, "I don't like you hanging out with that person." Another theory here is conflict theory, or is control theory. And control theory says that our behavior, that we have two kinds of controls. We have internal and external controls. And our behavior is more strictly regulated when we have both. So you have your internal set of beliefs about what is right and what is wrong and how I'm supposed to act, and then you have your external, the expectations of other people. So sometimes I'll use the example about, I don't go to Walmart. And I could give you a whole lecture as to why I don't go to Walmart. I have a lot of personal beliefs about the corporation and the way they treat their employees, yada, yada, yada. But sometimes I will be in a community or something and I can't find what I need. But I still don't go to Walmart. And that is because of external forces. So over the 20 or so years that I've been telling people, I've been telling students, I don't go to Walmart. There are lots of people out there that know that Sarah doesn't go to Walmart. So if I were to go there and see you, then I would fear your judgment. So that's external controls, right? Sometimes if nobody was looking, maybe we'll do things, but if people expect us to behave in a certain way, and you remember what you call it when somebody says one thing and does something else, we call them a hypocrite, right? And they're unpredictable. So that's what control theory is that if you have two systems of control, your own beliefs and other people expect something of you. Those are the people. My husband likes to say that locks are to keep honest people honest, right? Your internal, I'm an honest person, I don't steal, but externally, the doors are also locked. Okay, and then finally, a third kind of symbolic interactionist theory is what's called labeling theory. And labeling theory says that it's not so much it's not other people that control your behavior as much as it is we fear the stigma associated with being given a label. When we're accused of being a criminal or a cheater or or a delinquent, or a, what are they, the oh, fiddlesticks, a sexual predator, right? That we don't want the label, or of a form of an ex-con, or a drug, whatever those negative labels are. And so we control our behavior in a way, or we control our own behavior in a way that we avoid those labels. But if we're given one of those labels, then we'll work really hard to say, whoa, no, 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 or what's called neutralizing. And that's what you see right here on these pearls, or in the slide, are techniques of neutralization. In other words, the strategies that we use once somebody accuses us of being a criminal, of breaking the rules, we'll try to come up with ways to say, don't think you're being fair. Many years ago, I may have already shared this story with you, I had a class of about 200, and they were accused of cheating. And some of these responses on here were actually used by the students in my class. So one of them is denial of responsibility. And that's when you say, oh, you know, nobody got hurt, kind of thing, or it's not my fault. That's what it is. It's not my fault. And students in that class said that I was responsible, that they had simply taken advantage of a loophole that I had created. So they were not responsible for having copied down each other's answers, but I was responsible for them copying down other answers. Another one is denial of injury, right? Nobody got hurt. It was only worth a couple points. You said that yourself at the beginning of the semester. Finders keepers, you know, whenever we use this language, like, it's no big deal because it's only one person, you know. A third one, which wasn't used in that particular class, is what's called denial of a victim. I had a roommate many years ago. She was a shoplifter. And I like to say we'd come out of places and she would just empty out her pockets. And this was why she shoplifted. She believed this was how she was getting back at the man, was by stealing from Walmart, right? So she did this as a sort of a revenge strategy, that they don't care. What does Walmart care? You know, their budget is so big. Nobody gets hurt. A fourth one is condemnation of the condemners. And this is effectively when you say, hey, but you know, you can't accuse me of doing the same thing you do. Like, don't you accuse me of cheating on a test when I know you cheat on your taxes, kind of thing. Or, well, you did the same thing when you were growing up. It's sort of like, you know, if a parent smokes pot or something, and then they accuse their kid of, you know, being a stoner. Like, who do you think you are? You're doing the same thing I am. Condemnation of the condemners. And then the last one, which is actually what I'll probably put in your discussion question, is which one of these is more your style. The last one is the one that I rely on if somebody tells me that I'm deviant, or if I'm accused of being deviant, or accused of, you know, behaving in a way. And that's appeals of higher loyalty. And this one was used in my class as well, when students said, well, my friend asked me to, you know, I was just doing it for my buddy. Or so I like to use the example of, it's for the greater good, you know, this is how I want social justice. That's always one I always come back to. Or I was doing it because, you know, my religion says I have to do it. So like right now, when here at the social distancing thing, right, and everybody's supposed to stay home, this is the one my children have been using. And they're saying, well, all right, they want to go be with their friends. And I'm like, no, you need to, you know, stay away from people. And their response is, but I want to be a good friend. You know, they are appealing to the loyalties of friendship in order to justify their behavior, which currently our family culture is saying is an inappropriate, deviant behavior. So the third video, when we come back, is going to be about some of the functional theories, and maybe we'll even get to conflict theory.